Hi, I'm Austin Creel, and I will be testing the proprioception in the knee and the great toe, and also testing the C5 dermatomal distribution for temperature. I'll do both the tests, or all the tests first, and then I'll explain the different tracks that are used to carry the proprioception information to the brain, and also the temperature sensation to the brain. First, we're going to do the test to test for proprioception in the knee. So Julie, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to ask you to tell me whether or not I'm straightening your knee or bending your knee, okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is straight, and this is bend. Straight, bend, okay?
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Straight, straight, bend, bend, straight, straight, bend.
Good. And next we'll move to the great toe. And here we have a foot. I'm going to stabilize just distally here on the great toe. And Julie, again, this is straighten, bend, bend, straighten, okay? Close your eyes.
Straight, straight, bend, bend, straight, bend, straight.
Good. Okay, so that was testing the proprioception of the knee and the great toe. Next, we're going to move to testing the C5 dermatomal distribution. So Julie, I'm going to have you go ahead and sit up. And I have over here, I have a hot and cold test tubes, okay, that I have here. This is hot and this is cold, okay? And what the C5 dermatomal distribution is, here in the arm, it's just distal to the deltoid, and it runs on the lateral or anterolateral section of the antecubital space, okay? All the way down about where the brachioradialis visible muscle is, right at the base of it, okay? So Julie, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and I want you to tell me whether it's hot or cold, and wait about 2 or 3 seconds before you answer, okay?
Okay. Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot.
Good. Okay. All right. That's all. Thanks. Next, I'll go through the track systems and why this is and what we saw. Okay. So with the proprioception of the knee and the great toe, that is the dorsal column, the medial lemniscus system, and basically we have stimulation of the receptors at the distal end of the primary neurons. These go to the cell bodies in the dorsal root ganglia. The proximal axons of the primary neurons enter the spinal cord by the way of the dorsal root, and they ascend ipsilaterally in the dorsal column, which is actually more medially to the fasciculus gracilis. Those axons there synapse with the second-order neurons in the nucleus gracilis of the medulla. From there, the axons cross the midline as internal arcuate fibers, and ascend to the thalamus as the medial lemniscus, and end in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus. Those third-order neurons there in the thalamus connect the thalamus to the sensory cortex, which is actually more medially because it's lower extremity in the homunculus cortex. To test for the C5 dermatomal distribution, that's the spinothalamic tract, which is the anterolateral column. That's for the temperature sensation that we were testing. And basically the proximal axons of the first order neuron branches, and they spread vertically to the adjacent segments in the spinal cord. These synapse with the second order neurons in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. The second order axons cross the midline and ascend contralaterally to project to the VPL nucleus of the thalamus, just like with the dorsal column in the medial lemniscus system. Those axons of the third order neurons project from the thalamus again to the sensory cortex, but these are more anterior because it is in the upper extremity in the homunculus. Those were my tests for the neuro, whereas the proprioception of the knee and the great toe, and also the C5 dermatomal regions for temperature. Thanks.